our weekly giving season session. We only have one more giving season session after this one to help you get ready and get through the giving season. So we're really glad you're here with us today. And at Donorbox, we love sharing practical, actionable learning resources to keep you on top of all that's going on in our rapidly growing and changing nonprofit sector. And that's something you will take away today. You'll leave here with something you can do right now to put toward growing your giving season plans and your goals. I'm Kara, fundraising coach at Donorbox, and today I'm joined by Jenna, our nonprofit advocate, Bobby Joe, our account manager, Amy, our senior account executive, and Kara, who's our senior content writer. The Donorbox gang is all here for you today. And thank you guys for joining. And we are here to talk about giving season, which can be a source of both excitement and stress for nonprofits. Many of you are feeling this today for sure. And if you've been putting off rolling out your year-end fundraising plans, or maybe you haven't had time at all, it's okay. You are not alone. We have recently asked for questions from our webinar attendees, and the first question we received was very, very timely. An organization from Pennsylvania is tackling their first giving season and asked this question: we are brand new to donation campaigns and fundraising. What would you recommend as a must-do for tasks and activities that we should focus on to capitalize on Giving Tuesday and the remainder of the giving season? So we assembled our panel of Donorbox experts to talk about how to make sure that procrastination doesn't become a problem for your organization during the most generous time of year. And we have a few must-dos to help you get set for success. And we're going to go over some of the most important things you should do before December 31st. So are we ready to get started? As we get started, we do have a quick poll question for you. It's a little fundraising fun fact. Giving Tuesday gets bigger every year. And in 2021, Giving Tuesday generated a lot of money from a lot of supporters. What do you think was raised last year, a year ago, from that? Was it 3.8 billion from 55 million supporters worldwide, 2.7 billion from 35 million supporters, 1.3 billion from 18 million supporters, or 100.5 million from 15 million supporters? What do you think? Go ahead. We'll give you another second or two to cast your vote. You will not be graded on this quiz. This is totally just a fun fact. Well, it looks like some of you are right, but not the majority here. The correct answer is B. Last year, $2.7 billion was raised from over 35 million participants, which was really amazing. And I cannot wait to see how the results are this year. I'm curious to know if there'll be more or not. I really don't know. But many nonprofits make the mistake of treating Giving Tuesday as the biggest fundraising event of the year. Obviously, if you've been along with us in this fundraising season journey, you know that that is not the case. And if it's not your biggest day of fundraising, don't worry, you are not alone. Hopefully you see a bump in fundraising today, but I'm hopeful that the majority of your success will happen these final last weeks of the year, especially if you put several of these things into practice that we're going to talk through today. So don't hesitate to showcase your organization and ask your supporters to come along over these next few weeks. And Bobby Joe is leading us off with the first tip today.
Yes, thank you, Kara. And thank you for sharing those stats. It's always interesting and kind of motivating to hear on Giving Tuesday. But my biggest reminder or last must do is to make sure that the spine of your strategy is in prime working order. When you can, test your donation form, run a few more tests, check that everything included on your donation page and collected in your donation form is purposeful and clear. And if you can, to really smooth things out, ask your friends or coworkers to audit the process. Make sure someone unfamiliar with where to go or what is being asked can easily identify both your intent and the steps to get there to ensure a smooth experience for both you and your supporters. This is the time to tap into your network and get any last feedback. And at this stage, we don't need to be making big overhaul changes, but having fresh eyes, whether you are revisiting your donation page to do a comb through or asking someone else to look it over, can save you both from easy mistakes like a spelling error or more costly mistakes like a broken link you forgot about. There's still time to dot the I's and cross your T's. So my last reminder is to make sure you schedule a few moments to truly make sure you thoughtfully do that.
Thank you for that, Bobby Joe. I think that's great advice, making sure that your friends and family audit. They've got this wonderful outside perspective, right? Sometimes you can be so close to it that you're not sure where those pitfalls are. So great pro tip. Moving on to one of my favorites. So every nonprofit has a network of supporters. So people who already care about what they're doing, right? I know that you guys have these too. But if you want to get new people involved in your mission, then you need to spread the word outside of that network, right? And the best way to do this is through crowdfunding. And I know this is a big buzzword, but you may not know exactly what it entails. So crowdfunding is an affordable way for new as well as established nonprofits to raise hundreds, even thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I've seen a lot of our nonprofits here at Donorbox have huge success with crowdfunding. And we're seeing a lot of that today too on Giving Tuesday. We're seeing these campaign updates and it's really exciting. So not only does crowdfunding make it easy for your current supporters to be engaged by consistently updating them on your campaign's progress, but the power of shareability and the virtual donor walls that you can add onto your crowdfunding pages will automatically work as social proof for potential donors too. So crowdfunding is especially great for campaigns that have a deadline, like I said, such as Giving Tuesday or a year-end campaign. So today is Giving Tuesday and we're moving into year-end. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So if you're making your crowdfunding page for giving season, which I highly suggest, I have a few tips for you to keep in mind. So first, choose a captivating tagline and title. So titles and taglines are a part of your campaign's branding, and it will really help you stand out in the crowd. So this is kind of like a really great email subject line. If I see a lame email subject line, I might not open that email. So you really want to make sure that you've got that really great title and tagline. And you'll also want to keep it's simple though, right? So there are some free online SEO tools, so search engine optimization tools that you can use to find the best keywords, and you can continue to add content to that, and you don't want to use too many technical terms or industry jargon so that it applies to everybody. So be clear and direct with your ask and your call to action. That's the most important part. What are you asking people to do here when they're visiting? That needs to be so clear. So content used for these campaigns must be easy to understand and give people a reason to subscribe to your campaign. So that's my first tip for crowdfunding. It's also important to tell a story with high quality images and videos. We are in such a visual world right now. We're looking at TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. It's so important to have that visual element. And crowdfunding pages bring you the most success through this type of storytelling. So you can tell stories of your beneficiaries or your own story behind starting your nonprofit or goals for this particular campaign, whatever that may be. The images you use for your campaign are just as important as the content. I know everybody's heard this, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? And videos can help you raise 4 times more than other storytelling methods. Again, we're in such a visual space right now as far as consuming content. And then finally, perhaps the most important is add your social media sharing buttons on your crowdfunding page or your fundraising page. People should be able to click and share your page very easily, right? So since your crowdfunding page is entirely online, you want to make sure that you can share your story wherever possible to get the best results. So again, whether you're using your crowdfunding page or just a fundraising page, whether it's an email even, make sure you're including those social media buttons that people can click and share. And this will really expand your campaign's reach and success really, really well. All right, so I know I've been doing a lot of talking at you just because I'm so excited. My second tip for all of you. So I guess our third pro tip is do not do it alone. You do not have to do this alone. Of course, we're here to support you, but there are many others that are there to support you as well. So peer-to-peer fundraising, if you know me, if you've been attending these sessions, you know that I am the biggest peer-to-peer fundraising cheerleader. I am all about peer-to-peer. So it's another amazing way to engage your supporters, maximize your reach, and raise more funds and awareness for your cause, and really tap into those networks that you already have. So this fundraising method is especially impactful during giving season when people are feeling more generous with their time and their money. So I love peer-to-peer so much because it's a great way to bring in new donors who might not otherwise have heard of your organization. But not only this, it's, in my opinion, the most effective way to connect and build relationships with your current supporters. So including your board, because they should be fundraising for you, your volunteers, and even your most involved top donors. So it really boosts your year-end efforts and awareness by turning those supporters into what I like to call ambassadors, right? So not only are they just cheering you on, maybe giving you some money every month, giving you their time, but now they are representing your organization. This is so invaluable. So they're kind of like your marketers too, right? For your campaign. This is great, especially if you're a small organization, maybe you're a team of one and you're wearing 20 different hats. This really helps here. And it really helps you raise more donations and meet your revenue goals for less because your supporters are doing a lot of that legwork for you. So you may not have a development team of 10 people, but guess what? You probably have 10 really great supporters that will help you. So if your nonprofit doesn't have a large donor base yet, and you're kind of wondering, all right, where are these giving season dollars and year-end dollars coming from? Peer-to-peer is the perfect tool to consider. And I know that a lot of you are on this boat right now, so please consider this. But conversely, if your nonprofit already has a large donor base, but even loftier fundraising goals for 2022, peer-to-peer can really help amplify your impact too. So my biggest advice about peer-to-peer fundraising for your nonprofit is to be prepared. Do not wait until the last minute to set up a peer-to-peer campaign for giving season. I know we're at the end of November. It's not too late. It is not too late before the end of the year, those generous days of the year. There is a fair amount of legwork to do at the front end of peer-to-peer, but you can get it done. So you do need to have a plan on training your supporters. Maybe they've never fundraised before. So you may be a well-versed fundraiser. Maybe you're even certified in it. This has been your career for some time. Your supporters may have never fundraised ever. So you need to make a plan for training them. So create toolkits complete with email and social media templates that are ready for your supporters to use. So making sure that your brand is in line across all bases, and have everything in place so everyone can hit the ground running when the time comes. So not only does this ensure that you can reach as many people as possible during giving season, but it also ensures that you don't waste any time on things like setting up processes or creating content on the go when there's more important things to do as you're approaching the end of the year. All right, passing it over to Amy.
Hey, thanks for that, Jenna. What I really wanted to focus on is kind of what Bobby Joe was saying, which is just making sure that everything on your donation form is looking perfect. And an important part of that is making sure that your mission's clear, right? Connect your donors' dollars to your mission. Some ways to do that is by having a form that you can embed onto your website, right? Have all that beautiful content that you've put in a lot of hard work to make, have your content right next to that donation form. Another kind of easy way to make that connection clear is by having a clear call to action on your form. This is kind of your last opportunity to really let your donor know, hey, you believe in what we're doing, and we're here just kind of making one last ask in order to kind of push them over the ledge and make sure that they actually do complete that donation. So one of my favorite examples of a really clear call to action is by No Baby Blisters. And their call to action says, medically neglected babies depend on you. Please choose your monthly or one-time gift below so they never run out of life-saving surgeries. You're asking the donor what to do, and you're telling them why you're asking them. So it's just important to make sure that that connection is really clear for your donor every step of the way.
You're right, Amy. Connection is key in this field, and the faster the connection, the better. It's all about connecting with your donors and ensuring they have an easy, enjoyable experience, and not just when it comes to final preparation for something like Giving Tuesday or through giving season. This should also be built into every experience your donors have with your organization year-round. And one quick and super easy way to implement this through your online donation form and to make the process simple and speedy is offering your supporters quick wallet payment methods for their donations like Apple Pay, Google Pay, or Venmo, and enabling Donorbox's ultra swift checkout setting, which moved these options to the beginning steps of the form so supporters see them upfront and have a more streamlined donation process. I'm sure we've all started an online checkout of some kind, whether it was a donation, payment, or start to an online shopping cart. And when it comes to entering the credit card details, you put that checkout on hold because your credit card or payment method isn't in reach. So giving your donors these options and presenting them early in the checkout process helps alleviate the steps required from them and increases the chances of them completing the checkout that first time going through the form.
That is truly great advice. And it's also super simple to do. So I really encourage you to turn on that ultra swift. I know I made a couple of donations myself today. And the only reason I kept giving on those forms is because it's organizations that I've been a part of and volunteered on for years. If I had to be honest, it took me forever. They were not Donorbox users, by the way, so we might need to get on that. So yeah, that ultra swift pay really makes a big difference in having people complete that gift. But while we've talked a lot about the operations, right? So getting those forms ready, empowering your supporters, making sure it's easy for that donor to make that gift. But let's talk about how to actually share the big giving season message. So my biggest tip here is that once is not enough. It's never enough. Don't just send your appeal once and be done. Don't just start here on Giving Tuesday and be done. Your potential donors typically need to see your message. And I know if you've been on these sessions before, you've heard me say this statistic time and time again, but it is so important. They need to see it 7 to 12 times and in different ways before they make a gift. So make sure you're building a multi-channel marketing campaign that covers all the ways you can reach your audience. So that includes, direct mail through mailed letters, social media, email, advertisements, your website, even your phone calls and your events. If you've already written a direct mail appeal, I suggest you start by taking the best content from that piece and then repurposing it for your other channels. If you haven't already written this appeal letter for this campaign at this point, I do suggest either getting on it ASAP, or you might want to consider switching your strategy this year to just sending out an email appeal instead. But that doesn't mean you can't do it, so still do it. And also don't copy and paste. You should still adjust things like tone, length, and visual elements for the channel and audience, but you don't need to recreate the wheel. And that takes me to my next pro tip. I briefly mentioned this, but don't forget the last 48 hours. Again, don't just post today on Giving Tuesday. Don't forget the last 48 hours. Make sure you are spreading your messaging and outreach throughout the entire giving season. So many of us, are so rightly focused on today, Giving Tuesday. It's the big one, It's huge. Look at this chart. There is certainly a big spike in donations on this day, so you're not wrong. And I want to say right now, if you haven't already, be sure to post a call to action to give to your social media accounts at bare minimum today. So that means if you haven't, as soon as you log off after this session is over, please go join that conversation, even if it's just 1 or 2 posts using hashtag Giving Tuesday. And that call to action with a link to your giving form or your giving page. Go do it. Be a part of it. But today, again, isn't the only focal point you need to leverage. And it's actually not the biggest one. So be sure to post reminders to give, thank yous, and more throughout the next 30 days or so. And again, do not forget the last 2 days of the year. That's when at least 10% of all annual giving is raised. So take a look back at this chart. That spike is huge, huge at the end of the year. It's even bigger than Giving Tuesday. So make sure you're posting on social media, sending those email reminders, etc., to encourage those last minute gifts. I recommend, December 27th, get those out. A lot of donors give at this time to make sure they can get it in before the tax year is over. And others may even give if they want to help you reach your goal and they see how close you are. So again, just don't forget those last 48 hours.
Thanks for showing that graph. I
love
thought that was
graphs.
really interesting. And just kind of, yeah, graphs can be so fun, right? And to kind of go off of that, it's the giving season, not only for nonprofits, but also for individuals giving to other individuals. We've all seen it. Tribute donations are becoming increasingly popular. It's not uncommon for people to gift donations to other donor or to other friends. So it makes sense to have a tribute option on your donation form. I know that for Donorbox, a donor can leave an honoree's email. They can even leave a personal message for them. And then when the transaction's complete, we automatically send over an email to the honoree, just letting them know, hey, a donation's been made in your honor. And of course, the organization can customize what that auto email looks like as well. In addition to being able to send donations in honor of somebody, with the holidays around, people who are no longer, with their loved ones, people who have loved ones that are no longer here with us, they're going to miss them a little extra. And having that opportunity to make a donation in memory of somebody can be really important to your donors. I know that I personally, every year, I give a donation to Girls on the Run in Vermont, specifically in my mom's memory. She raised me to be a strong, confident woman, and I know that she really supported their mission. And so having the ability to leave a donation in her memory makes me connect with that organization that much more. So you want to give your donors that opportunity to give those tribute donations.
I love that, Amy. It's so funny. I asked my dad the other day, we were celebrating Thanksgiving together. I said, Dad, what do I get you for Christmas? He's the most impossible person to buy for. His slippers are still in good shape. He can't get any more hot sauce. He's tired of beef jerky. What do I get him? And he said, Jen, just give a little bit more to a nonprofit that means something to you instead. So that's exactly what I'll do. And I think that being able to put his name on it, leave a little message, really is such a nice feature. So add it on there. You can add it right in your donation form in your campaign creator. It really is such a nice option to have. So thanks for that. All right, one last pro tip for all of you, and we'll keep it brief. Things can and maybe will go wrong at some point while you're building your campaign. Maybe you just get confused, but that's okay. We have always got you covered. We have the best support team on the planet here at Donorbox. I swear I'm not biased. We get amazing comments about them all the time, a whole smile file about the amazing job that they're doing. So our support team is available 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday via email, and they have an amazing response time and fully connected to every aspect of our product and services. But what really makes them stand out is the time and care that they put into making sure that you're set up for success. There's a real person behind our support email, really happy to help you and really just cheering you on, as all of us are. So you can reach out to our support team with any questions you may have, whether it's about the product, setting something up. You can reach out to them at support@donorbox.org.
Thanks, Jenna. And we will wrap up with our weekly practical action. We like to get you in and out on Tuesday afternoons. And so your weekly practical action, something you can do right now, it is time to create a Giving Tuesday thank you campaign that turns today's giving into a launching pad for record-breaking year-end donations for you. And that is my tip to round out this episode. I would encourage any organization at any time to be sure to remember the importance of donor stewardship by saying thank you in a thoughtful way when donors give at year end or anytime. You lay the groundwork to inspire continued engagement and repeat giving next year. So remember, fundraising is all about relationships. So write a thank you note, make a phone call, be very genuine. You can even post on social media as gifts come in today. Give a little shout out post. That would be really great. And now we're into our question time. We only have a couple minutes. It looks like, let's start here. So Desiree asks, and Kara, I think I'm going to ask you if you have any insight on this one here. She says, I'm worried that sending emails on a new campaign will make people tired. Honestly, my Giving Tuesday campaign was a failure despite the fact it was very attractive and nicely designed. I know you've probably been in that boat before. How would you advise
That's the worst
Desiree
when
on
that
this?
happens. It is the worst. So I don't think that people will get tired, especially of a new campaign, as long as you're not, beating them over the head with it. I wouldn't send them, more than one email in a day. But if your open rates are down, what I'm going to, at this point, because we're towards the end of Giving Tuesday, I'm going to make a suggestion on how to turn this around for the rest of giving season. I would, especially if your open rates are down, so you know that a lot of people haven't seen it, I would repurpose that really attractive email, that well-designed email, and try out a new subject line. See if maybe it was a subject line, or honestly, if you're newer, maybe today it just got lost in that Giving Tuesday shuffle. So again, especially if those open rates are low and you don't think people were seeing it, or if the open rates were high, but the click-through rates were low, in that case, I would try adjusting your content a little bit, maybe changing the call to action on your button. But yeah, I've done that before. Just use this as a learning opportunity, I would suggest. Unfortunately, there's not much more. Sometimes that just happens. You can make the most beautiful thing in the world and no one sees it. But again, I would suggest just repurposing it as you can.
And Desiree, I'm going to add to Kara's too. I would use Giving Tuesday as an opportunity to call or personally reach out to last year's supporters, especially if they haven't given yet this year, and just say, thank you for giving, and then follow that up in a week or so with this new campaign. And then just keep, like Kara said, sometimes it takes 7 to 12 touches. You don't know if somebody's reading it, while they're standing in line at the store or whatever. So don't hesitate. I really don't think you can ask too much if you have 3 asks between now and the year.
And I've done,
and what
we've done before too, that we saw a lot of benefit from, was sending a Giving Tuesday thank you email, but it was a hidden guilt trip. We targeted it to anybody that we knew did not donate. And we said, thanks so much for all the support on Giving Tuesday. By the way, the giving season isn't over. If you'd still like to make a gift, here's how you can. So you can kind of thank them and make them feel a little guilty in that way too.
Amy, I saw a few questions in the chat about crowdfunding and Donorbox crowdfunding. I know we're a minute or so over. What's the best way to learn more about crowdfunding and peer-to-peer on Donorbox?
I think it's really important to just always be aware that we have a pretty robust blog and community kind of at Donorbox. So I would always say, check out our blogs, because we're constantly adding advice there. And then also don't forget that we also have 24-hour customer support, really great customer support team. So if you do have kind of technical questions, then just know that the support is there.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're at donorbox.org, you can search through all those product features and find blog and learning resources up at that top navigation bar. So, well, thank you again for taking time out of your week to join us. This has been a giving season adventure, and we hope to see you all at the same time next week for our final session together. It's really great to see you all. Thank you so much.